everyone, it's me again, Chai, and this is our second episode for the budgeting series. And today I'll be sharing with you my personal budgeting worksheet. But before that, if you're watching on Facebook, please don't forget to follow my Facebook page. If you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe. And I hope that you can also follow me on my Instagram account. Thank you. So before anything else, again, I just want to emphasize about the importance of budgeting. And that's why I created this series kasi gusto kong ma-share sa inyo yung talagang beauty of having a budget. And like I said in my previous video, budgeting is all about taking control of your finances. It's about making sure that your hard-earned money is allotted for things that are important to you. So, ang tanong, ano ba ang importante sa'yo? What are your goals? You need to identify your goals. So, start there. Do you want to start saving up for your retirement? Do you want to build a family support fund? Do you want to build your emergency funds? Do you want to have protection for yourself and your loved ones? Do you want to save up for your dream home or a dream wedding? Or a dream travel, diba? So whatever your goals are, of course, your budget has to be able to accommodate yung mga goals na isiset mo. I'm sure if you do this, your whole budgeting experience will be very exciting. So in this video, we'll be using the 10-20-70 principle and the zero-based budget principle. So later, I'll explain more about the zero-based budget principle. But the 10-20-70, just to recap, it's 10% tithes, 20% investment, 70% for all of your other expenses. But the good thing about this worksheet is that it's actually customizable. So kung ano yung gusto mong allocation na gawin, 50-20-30, 80-20, pwede mo siyang ma-edit. And of course, apart from budgeting, it's also important that we track our expenses. Kasi doon mo malalaman, di ba, kung nafa-follow mo ba yung sinet mong budget. And lalo na kung medyo hirap ka mag-save and invest. By tracking your expenses, you'll be able to pinpoint ano ba yung mga bagay na pwede mong ma-cut down so you can make space for the things that you really want to save up for. This worksheet includes a tab for our income tracker, for our goals, for our budget, for our expense tracker, and also our investment tracker. Now, here's the reason why I prefer using Google Sheets kasi most of our transactions, if not all, are done online and bihira lang kami gumamit ng cash. Usually, gumagamit lang kami ng cash for laundry, delivery fees, pero bihira lang rin yun for tips, ganyan. But again, most of our transactions are done online. So, since karamihan online, meron din kaming iba't ibang mga bank accounts na sinet up so that naka-separate yung mga funds namin. For example, we have a joint account na kung saan pumapasok lahat ng income namin ni Patrick. We have a separate account na kung saan nakalagay yung budget namin for the month. We have a separate account for our emergency funds, for our investments, para sa funds ni Cassie. And of course, we also have individual accounts kung saan nakalagay yung aming allowances. So, you might be wondering, no, bakit sobrang dami? Para kaming naka-envelope system, except different bank account siya. So, we prefer doing this para hindi naghahalo-halo yung pera. Madaling mag-monitor, madaling mag-track, and hindi siya maggulo sa isip and sa mata. So, those are just some of the basic things that you have to keep in mind when using this spreadsheet that I'm gonna be sharing with you. Okay, so let's start. Kung makikita nyo dito sa worksheet, we have several tabs. The income tracker, goal tracker, budget tracker, expense tracker, and investment tracker. So, for this specific income tracker, we find this very useful kasi pareho kami ni Patrick na wala kaming fixed income. So, it's very important for us to really monitor how much money is coming in. Pero kung fixed naman yung income mo, medyo straightforward lang naman sa'yo yung pagtatrack ng income. But like in our case, we need to find kasi the average. So, that's why we always have to keep track of our monthly income. So, depende din sa pasok. Like, if we have side hustle, at least madali naming ma-input dito. So, let's start. For example, last March 15, I received my commission. And then, let's say, for example, I got 30,000. So, makikita mo na kaagad magkano yung mapupunta sa tithe, magkano yung sa investment, magkano yung sa expenses. So, naka-auto-compute na siya based on the 10-20-70 budgeting principle. So, let's input another one. Let's say, sweldo naman ni Patrick. Yan. So, for example, nag-earn siya ng, let's say, 50,000. Yan. So, ganun din. Naka-compute na 5,000 for tithe, 10,000 for investment, 35,000 for expenses. So, each time you receive an income, dapat ma-input mo yun dito para nakikita mo magkano yung pumapasok sa'yo. So, kahit may side hustle, very useful talaga to, especially for mga freelance or yung mga nakaka-receive ng income anytime within the month. At least, mabilis mong mamomonitor. Now, okay, sige, let's move on to the next tab. So, for the goals tab, ito naman, importante to para may maset ka na, diba? Na before you start budgeting, ano ba yung mga gusto mong pag-ipunan para masama mo yun sa budget mo. So, for example, in our case, by the end of the year, gusto naming, ayan, lagyan natin. December 31, for example. By December 31, gusto namin na yung fund ni Cassie meron ng laman na, example, 100,000. Yan. So, pag-iipunan natin to, diba? And then, for example, yung retirement fund namin ni Patrick, gusto namin na by the end of the year also, meron ng let's say, 500,000. Example lang, okay? So, at least meron na kaming inaay na goals. And pwede mo rin ilagay dito, emergency fund, magkano yung gusto mo, by when. Sama na rin natin siya na end of the year. So, let's say, for example, you want to have, let's say, 300,000 for your emergency fund. Okay? So, at least, madali mo nang mapipinpoint. So, pwede ka pang maglagay dyan. O, lagay mo travel fund. By when? Kailan ba pwede mag-travel? Sabihin na lang natin, next year. Let's say, March 1, 2022. O, lagay mo dyan. Let's say, 200,000. So, at least, madali mong nakikita, no? Ano ba yung mga bagay na gusto mong mapag-ipunan. Okay? Now, let's go to the budget tracker. So, for the budget, okay, so here's something that I want to share with you. Kami ni Patrick, what we do or the strategy that we follow is that we make sure that the income we get this month, so lahat ng pumapasok sa amin this March, we don't use it for this month. We will use it for next month. So, parang naka-advance. Lahat ng kailangan namin gastusin for this month, na-cover na namin with the money that came in from last month. So, hindi kami naghahabol or hindi kami yung parang nagigipit kasi nga, we always plan in advance. So, yung kagandahan when you create a budget, mas madali mong ma-manipulate paano mo i-allocate yung funds mo. So, mas masaya to kasi may freedom ka, hindi ka kinakabahan saan ako pupulot or kukuha ng pambayad ng bills, diba? So, at least you're able to plan ahead. Okay? So, ngayon, let's just assume an average monthly income. So, sabihin natin, we need 140,000, for example, para mabuhay kami dito sa Makati. Ayan. Okay, so, assuming ang average income namin is 140K, 10% is 14,000. So, automatic yan. Transfer ka agad namin sa mga community or sa kung kanino man kami nag-commit na mag-tithe. And then the 20%, hinahati-hati namin yan sa kung ano-ano pang mga investments namin. And then the 70%, this is what we use for our monthly expenses. Now, here, we will write down ano ba yung mga expenses natin. So, dito sa gilid makikita nyo, no, meron tayong sample expenses. So, pwede nyong kopyahin, pwede ding gumawa kayo ng sarili nyo. Ayan. So, I'll just copy this. So, yan. Rent with juice and parking. And then, wala naman yung family support, utilities, water. Dito, makikita nyo, diba, may categories. Now, we have to input alin ba yung fixed, alin yung hindi. Okay? So, for example, rent is fixed. Utilities is fixed. Internet is also fixed. Our phone bill is also fixed. Hindi naman nagbabago. So, para madaling makategorize, no? Fixed is yung hindi siya nagbabago. Kumbaga, if you're paying rent, 15K, for example, 15K naman siya all the way. Or yung internet mo, diba? Kung kumuha ka na ng certain plan, yun yung babayaran mo for a certain period. So, fixed siya. Grocery is variable. Gas also is variable. Allowances is variable. Pwedeng magbago. Learning. Ayan. Learning is actually medyo leisure for us. Food deliveries, that's variable. Shopping is leisure. Baby fund is variable. Travel fund is leisure. Buffer is variable. Okay? So, ngayon, mag-input na tayo ng mga amounts. For example, for rent, so if you live in Makati, I'm sure may idea kung magkano ang rent dito. So, let's just put here, for example, halimbawa na lang, 30,000. And then for water and electricity, so since puro work from home tayo, let's say 5,000 for water and electricity. Our internet is 2,000. Our phone bills is 1,999 plus 999, 1,998. So for dalawang tao na yan. Our groceries, let's say for example, 7,000. Gas, we don't really go out, so let's just put 1,000. Our allowances for each, let's say 10K kami. Learning, let's say 500. Food deliveries, 5,000. Leisure and shopping, 5,000. Baby fund, 5K. Travel fund. So, ito, even if we're not traveling per se, kahit na hindi ka naman lumalabas or, yun nga, wala tayong masyadong travels, okay pa rin na magtabi kayo or, like in our case, budgeting kasi, diba, nagtatabi ka na each month so that when the time comes that you would need money for it, meron ka nang hugutin. So, yun yung point na tong pagbabudget. Hindi mo, kumbaga, pag dumating yung time na may gagastusan ka, hindi mo kailangan humalughog sa kung saang parte ng budget mo yung kailangan mong i-adjust or bawasan muna kasi nag-allocate ka na talaga for it to begin with. So, ganun din. If I have clients na sinasabi na hindi naman ako mahilig mag-shopping, pero nagsha-shopping sila every so often within a year. So, dapat meron ka pa rin budget for that. So, magtabi ka every month para pag dumating yung point na gusto mo nang mag-shopping, meron kang paghuhugutan. Okay? Ayan. So, for example, let's save 4,000 for your travel fund. And then, the buffer money, so this is very important, lalo na kung, yun nga, like in our case, hindi naman kami fixed income earners. So, at least pag may mga months na medyo mas mababa yung inita mo, meron kang mapaghugutan. Or, kung fixed ang income mo, tapos no work, no pay ka, eh, nag-leave ka. Diba? So, at least meron kang buffer money kung bumaba yung magiging income mo for the coming month kasi nga nag-leave ka. So, this is separate from emergency funds kasi dapat yung emergency funds mo pang mga emergencies lang talaga siya. Okay? So, for example, let's allocate 5,000 for your buffer money. Now, down here, you will see yung total niya is 91,498 pesos pa lang. So, ang 70% ko is 98,000. So, yung minention ko kanina na zero-based budget, ibig sabihin nun, dapat every peso that you have in your budget, meron siyang assignment. Hindi pwedeng, bahala na basta may extra ako. Bakit? Kasi imagine nyo, yung extra na yun, pwedeng na-allocate mo na sana yun sa bagay na talagang mas gusto mo. So, halimbawa, meron kang extra na 5,000 each month. So, in 1 year, that's around 60,000 na hindi mo alam exactly kung saan napunta. Kasi nga, hindi mo naman tinatrack, diba? Or hindi talaga siya part ng budget. So, mas maganda na i-include nyo talaga every peso sa inyong budget. So, hanggang na lang natin ito para hindi mo talaga. Kung 2,000 yung phone bill, 10,000 yung grocery. Kasi matakot talaga kami. Food deliveries also, sabihin natin 10,000. Ayan. Ayan na nga. So, makikita nyo, no, there's a problem. Expenses must not exceed allocated budget. So, hindi na tayo pwedeng lumampas. So, magkano yung lampas natin? So, 94,500 minus 98. So, around 8,500. Yan. So, perfect na siya. Yung 70%, equivalent na sila, diba? Dun sa expenses mo. So, ngayon, every single peso has a name. And mas mabilis mo na siyang mamamonitor. So, ganito gumawa ng budget. Now, I want you to remember that when we set a budget, hindi ibig sabihin final na yan. So, that's why we have to monitor our expenses. Kasi, dun mo malalaman kung yung budget mo ba realistic, masyado ba siyang mataas, masyado ba siyang mababa, or perfect siya. And, ayan, kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga line items na nandito sa budget natin, nandito na rin siya sa expense tracker. Tcharam! Diba? So, ang saya. Nakikita mo na siya kaagad, automatic. And then, dito sa pinaka-ilalim, makikita nyo rin kung ano yung running balance mo. Okay? So, yan. So, I will hide January and February kasi tapos na tayo dyan. Okay, so we'll start with March. So, for example, nagbayad ka ng rent no March 1. So, input mo dyan 30,000. So, kung mapansin nyo, daily tracker talaga to. Kasi, dapat ganun. Every time may lumalabas na pera, i-monitor mo siya. So, like in my case, I really visit this almost every day. Pag alam ko may gumastos, i-input na kaagad namin para mabilis ma-balance. Kasi, remember I mentioned earlier, we have separate bank account. So, pag nakita ko na yung bank account namin, hindi naka-balance yung laman sa nasa worksheet namin, tatanungin ko, sinong gumalaw? Diba? So, alamin ko saan napunta yun at nakakaloka siya pag hindi mo na-monitor. Diba? Kasi, bakit may nawawalang pera na hindi ko alam saan napunta? So, yun. As much as possible, we have to track our daily expenses. Ang dami kong sinabi doon, no? That was a mouthful. Okay. And then, let's go to the other expenses. So, let's say, for example, nagbayad ka ng electricity noong 15th. So, let's say you paid 4,576. Yan. So, i-note mo na lang. Pwede ka namang maglagay ng note dyan, electricity. Okay? And then, nagbayad ka ng internet. So, kami every 16th kami nagbabayad. So, we paid 2,000. And then, ganun din sa phone bill. Every 5th of the month, we pay. So, yan. Let's say 2,000. And then, for the grocery. So, halimbawa, nag-grocery ka nung kahapon. March 18. So, halimbawa, gumastos ka ng, let's say, for example, na lang 5,775 po. Okay, so makita niyo dito sa ilalim mo, meron siyang remaining balance. So, kung nagastos mo na, wala na siyang balance, diba? Pero kung hindi mo pa na ma-maximize yung budget mo, makita mo meron pa siyang balance. Okay, so kung hindi ka naman lumabas, hindi ka nagpagas, so you still have budget for that. And then for the allowances, usually we give it every first of the month. So for example, binigyan na namin yung 10,000 pesos na. So first of the month pa lang, may kanya kami allowances. And itong allowance na to, we can spend it on whatever we want. Okay, so basta kumbaga, sinasama lang namin siya sa monthly budget, pero hindi na namin siya tinatrack dito sa sheet na to kasi kami nang bahala kung saan namin yun gusto ilagay. Pero ako personally, I list down all of my expenses kasi meron akong credit card bill sa mom ko. Hi, mommy. Ayan. So I would usually use this allowance to pay her. Okay? And then for the learning, recently bumili ako ng books from Facebooks. Kaya matandaan. So for example, bumili ako nung March 14. So, input natin, 450 pesos. Bumili ako ng books. Ilagay na lang natin sa note. And then, food delivery. So, halimbawa, yesterday, nagpa-deliver kami sa Food Panda, 750 pesos. Input natin yun dyan. Ayan. And another thing pala, so, nung birthday ni Patrick, nag-libre kami ng family. So, ilagay natin yan sa budget. I think we spent mga 3,500 ganyan. So, birthday libre. Birthday treat. Okay, and then leisure and shopping. Kaka 6 months lang ni Cassie. So, kung ano din yung binili namin for her. Pwede natin lagay sa baby funds. Kung pag bumili ng nappy, ng books and toys, sabihin na lang natin, ginastos namin ito lahat. 5,000 pesos. For leisure and shopping, kung halimbawa may gustong bilhin ni Patrick, so yun, birthday niya rin. Sabihin natin, lagyan natin dyan, binilhan siya ng anak niya ng gift. Ayan, diba? So, binilhan ni Cassie yung daddy niya ng gifts from 𝐬𝐭𝐴. So, sabihin natin 3,000 pesos. So, input natin dyan. 𝐬𝐭𝐴. Okay? And then, travel fund, kung di mo naman ginalaw, so just keep it there. And then, the buffer, so at least nandiyan sa budget. So, kung titingnan nyo pagdating sa ilalim, kung may mga items na hindi nyo nagamit or nagalaw or naubos, so may remaining balance pa siya, no? And then, magka-carry over yan sa susunod na buwan. So, for example, yung sa grocery, last month, meron kang balance na 4,225. So, sa susunod na buwan, may extra ka na 4,225. So, at least, diba, mas kapag nakakatipid ka, mas nagkakaroon ka ng space sa specific expense na yun in the coming month. And, tuloy-tuloy lang to kasi nga, makikita mo naman sa account mo kung ano yung running balance mo. So, diba, ang saya kasi namomonitor mo talaga kung saan napupunta yung expenses mo. So, that's how simple it is. And ito din, halimbawa, merong line item na nag-exceed ka. So, for example, sa food deliveries, ito, lumalabas talaga kami dito. So, for example, natulog dito yung kapatid ko, tapos nagpa-deliver kami ng food. So, halimbawa, gumastos kami ng 1.7. Yan. So, na ba kami kumain last time? So, sabihin natin, yabu. So, yan, makita nyo, na lumampas ka sa budget. And then, in the coming month, mas mababawasan din yun. Okay? So, parang kailangan lang na i-monitor mo para hindi ka lumampas. Diba? At least makikita mo na ay, ito na lang pala yung budget ko for food delivery. So, medyo mas makakapag-control ka. Okay? Pero again, may choice ka naman dahil may extra money ka from last month. Kung gusto mong ilipat yun sa budget mo for food deliveries, pwede naman i-note mo na lang din na napunta sa food deliveries yung extra money mo from last month. So, there you have it. This is our expense tracker. Now, before I proceed to the investment tracker, so, I want us to remember na yung kagandahan when you track your expenses, diba? Halimbawa, ito, for the last 3 months, yung budget mo for dining out, parating lumalampas ng 5,000. So, like in our case, ilang buwan na lumalampas kami ng 5,000. Balikan mo yung budget mo. So, balikan mo to, kasi edit mo yung allocation. So, yun yung kagandahan. Hindi mo kailangan mag-guilty. So, kung halimbawa, wala naman kaming travel talaga, bawasan ko na lang muna yung travel fund. Gawin ko tong 2,000. Tapos, i-allocate ko na lang siya sa food delivery. So, gawin ko na lang 7,000 yung food delivery. So, at least, diba, you make space for the things that you actually spend on. Kasi hindi ka na magigilty kasi binago mo na yung budget mo. Kumbaga, wala na yung feeling na hindi ko naman masunod, ganyan. Kung hindi naman talaga kasi realistic for you, edi baguhin mo. Pero kung halimbawa, talagang sobrang tight na yung budget mo, tapos na-compromise mo na yung savings mo, yung investments mo, yung pagta-tithe mo, edi bawasan mo talaga yung expenses mo. Hindi yung kumbaga, i-compromise mo or isasantabi mo yung pag-i-invest para lang makapag-dine out ka. No, no, no. Okay? So again, live within your means. Okay? So, dapat pasok sa budget natin yan. And one more thing pala. So, kung hindi pasok sa budget, diba? Pero gusto mo talagang pag-ipunan, so, doon na pumapasok yung importance of increasing your income. So, find ways, diba? Get into a side hustle or use your time so that you can create something and then sell it, diba? At least, mas magkakaroon ka ng freedom. Pwede mong mabago yung budget mo and you can make space for things that you want to spend on or yung mga bagay na gusto mong pag-ipunan. Okay? Now, let's go to the investment tracker. So, for this one, diba, meron tayong income tracker. So, dito, i-note nyo kung saan napupunta yung investment. So, for example, so, balik tayo sa investment tracker, no? March 15. And try to make this an automatic thing. Every time you receive your income, itabi mo na kaagad yung 20%, diba? Para hindi na siya magalaw. So, for example, March 15, nakatanggap ka ng sweldo, automatic i-invest mo yun. So, for example, naka-receive ka na kami ng 6,000. So, lagyan natin siya sa 𝐬𝐭𝐿 fund. So, legal fund ni 𝐬𝐭𝐿, yun yung category. And then, magkano? So, lagyan mo dyan 6,000. And then, another one, diba, merong 10,000 na 20% from Patrick's income. So, ganun din, i-allocate natin to. For example, lagyan natin sa emergency fund, yung 5,000 pesos. And then, yung isa, ilagay naman natin sa dito, retirement fund. Ayan. So, dito yan. So, 𝐬𝐭 equity fund. So, another 5,000 pesos. So, every time you receive your income, make sure that you invest it right away. Tapos, pwedeng i-note nyo na lang din dito para mabilis nyong makita. 𝐬𝐭𝐿 mutual fund. And then, this one, i-note nyo na lang rin, 5,000 emergency fund, 5,000 retirement. So, 𝐬𝐭 Strategic Growth Funding. Ayan. And then, for the tithe, ganun din, pwedeng maglagay kayo ng note kung saan yan napunta. So, for example, ito, fees, ito, missionary support. So, at least nakikita nyo, no, kung saan nyo siya binigay. So, the nice thing about this investment tracker, di ba nag-set ka ng goals? So, mayroon kang mga target amounts for the year na gusto mong maipon. So, for example, by the end of the year, sabihin na lang natin marami na itong 𝐭𝐶 fund. Every month, maglagay tayo. Every 15th, naglalagay ka. Kami pala. Pwede din ikaw. Okay, so, let's say every month, lagay kami 5,000, 6,000, ganyan. Okay. Sabihin natin, by August, so binalikan na natin, binonitor natin, magkano pa kaya yung naitabi namin for 𝐭𝐶? So, pwede natin i-filter to para makita lang natin is 𝐭𝐶 fund. So, yun na. And then dito sa ilalim, makikita nyo, magkano na yung total. So far, meron na siyang 32,000 sa kanyang mutual fund. And then, you go back to your goals. Ang goal namin is 100K by end of December. And then, August na. So, ilang months na lang, no? September, October, November, December. Minus 32,000. So, that's about 60K pa. 60 plus ta, 68,000. Ganyan. So, dapat, habulin natin yun. Okay? Para ma-make sure natin na by the end of the year, ma-achieve natin yung 100,000 na gusto nating maipon. Okay? So, ganun lang siya kasimple. Here's another thing. Let's go back to the income tracker. So, for example, in our case, sabihin natin March 31 na. Ayan. And then, naka-receive ulit kami ng income ni Patrick. So, for example, 30K sa akin. Ay. And then, kay Patrick, 60,000. Example. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung total income namin is 170,000. Diba? Pero yung nasa budget namin is only 140,000. So, meron kaming extra na 30,000. So, yung extra na yun, dapat malaman mo rin saan mo siya ilalagay. Kasi, diba, that's not a little amount. 30,000 yun. So, pwede naming, like ako, pwede kong i-note na lang dito. Extra 30,000 for, let's say, 𝐭𝐶 fund. Diba? Mahal na mahal ko si 𝐭𝐶. So, ilalagay ko rin yan dito. Baliktihan natin. 3, 31, 21. At, ano ko? Yan. So, 3, 31 𝐭𝐶 fund. Let's say, 30,000. So, at least, diba, yung extra na nakinita namin, alam din namin kung saan siya napunta. Or, it's up to you, diba? Pwede mong ilagay sa emergency fund, sa buffer money mo, sa separate na investment for your future, or for your dream home. So, it's completely up to you. But again, the beauty of monitoring where our money goes is that we're able to really put it into something that we intentionally want to save up for. So, kaya mag-budget na tayo, diba? And, promise, there's so much freedom when we're able to take control of our finances kasi very intentional siya and pinaghirapan mo yung pera na yan. So, diba, gusto mo na mapunta siya sa mga bagay na mapapakinabangan mo. Hindi yung naglaho na lang siya bigla nang hindi mo alam kung saan napunta. Okay? So, that's it for this budgeting tool. So, that's it. And before you know it, you're already so good with budgeting. Diba? Na-enjoy mo na rin siya. And the best part is, makikita mo na unti-unti ka na ding lumalapit sa mga goals mo. Na-achieve mo na sila isa-isa. So, I hope that you enjoy this episode. And please, I would really love to hear from you. Please comment down below if you like this episode and kung ano pa yung mga gusto nyong matutunan from me about finances. I would really, really love to hear from you guys. And that's it. I hope you learned something from this. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this to your friends, your family, your entire barangay, and the whole nation. Okay? And again, this is Shai reminding you to keep on learning, keep on growing. Thanks and see ya!